Hi, welcome back to Debra Lynn Bel Canto. Please remember to subscribe below. And I'm going to put some information in the box below in the description for you with regards to my book on Amazon.com called The Bel Canto Buzz, and also a link to my website, debralynn.org, where if you're liking what's happening for you in these few sessions you've had so far, you'll be able to actually purchase warm-up exercises, and you also will be able to purchase a PDF of my book there if you like as well. Now, I want to take us on just one little side journey here into breathing, because this might be helpful information for you as you're trying to shift over from sort of thrust mechanics or flow mechanics, all right? Or if you're trained in more of the Wagnerian or the Puccini breathing, and you're trying to become more efficient in contemporary music styles where you're finding there's too much vibrato, too much tonal conflict going on from those breathing techniques. So let me just talk to you about them and how you can make this transition, if you will, a little more gently. And if you happen to be someone that's in the realm of a cappella or competitive barbershop music, all right, especially the issues around vibrato become much more problematic, if you will, all right? This piece of the puzzle may assist you in the interim while you're trying to get your body used to these gentler mechanics. Now, remember yesterday I talked to you about how the vocal folds are being reinforced in bel canto by the suspension of the ribs, that those ribs, as they stabilize, are actually helping the mechanism reinforce. It's kind of a weird, like, they are helping these, all right? Now, there's another part of your musculature, another part of your physiology that can assist you with the approximation piece of this puzzle, keeping the vocal folds more still and steady over a period of a phrase. That's at another point in your body. Now, if you're a Wagnerian singer or you've been trained in low pelvic floor breath, you probably already know this. But for many singers, for some reason, this piece has not quite gone across the pond either from Italy. And that is the nature, or Germany, the nature of the pelvic floor and the pelvic floor lift and how that can help us here. This is kind of a crazy one. For those of you that follow the Ellen show and like Christian Chenoweth, if you go back, you can see a really funny clip called Sing From Your Hoo-Ha that was recorded on the Ellen show. This has been a number of years yet. But Christian Chenoweth, of course, was Glinda the Good Witch in Wicked, and what an amazing instrument she has. If you haven't heard her sing, one of my favorite YouTube performances of her is when she sings Glitter and Be Gay on her side on a chaise lounge, and she's singing stratospheric high Fs. It's like, so go hear her because you'll be thoroughly entertained, I'm sure. But let's talk about this. Okay, so she's talking about controlling the vocal mechanism from the pelvic floor. Why is this even a possibility? So for those of us that understand the nerve that runs down the whole body, the vagus nerve that runs from literally the brain all the way down to the pelvic floor, or from the pelvic floor all the way up, either way you want to think about it. That nerve actually has a laryngeal branch, which would be to the larynx, and a pharyngeal branch, believe it or not, that goes to the pharyngeal mechanism. Now, I believe that the reason that we can reinforce vocal fold closure from our pelvic floor is because of that nerve, that we are literally tied together. And again, we could probably come back to the emergency systems of our body. If we were really in distress underwater, the entire body would freeze in an attempt to not drown. Because none of us have probably drowned before, hopefully you've not had that experience, you may not have a direct experience of what that feels like for the body. But if you just sort of open up and hold still, or open up and freeze, you may notice that the pelvic floor does the same thing when you do it. It's like it's all connected, okay? I have a very good friend that says it's all connected. Now, in the interim, if you're trying to make the shift over from larger breath mechanics to the bel canto, and it's not quite coordinating yet, if you will be mindful of the pelvic floor engagement, we call it, for women, we call this the Kegel, Kegel. Now, what most folks don't know is there's also a male Kegel, a male engagement of the pelvic floor, which is, I've got to say, good for us for health reasons. Both sexes should be doing pelvic floor engagement for lift, for control of the bladder, for control of other parts of our physiology. So if you don't know about the Kegel, men, go just Google it, male Kegel, Kegel. And gals, if you are not familiar with doing them, they're going to be really healthy for you. If you've never had a child, they're going to teach you how to do them then. But if you haven't had that, or you're younger and you want to get a head start on control of your pelvic floor, which can be good for other things, go and just Google Kegels and you'll learn how to do them. Now, essentially, you're lifting up the pelvic floor. So if I breathe in and then I lift up the pelvic floor, you'll notice you feel something here. Release. Breathing in, engage pelvic floor, and you feel a little tiny engagement right here. That is that mechanism reinforcing, just because you lifted it up, reinforcing the closure of your folds, all right? This can be really helpful. And for barber shoppers, if you're trying to sustain a really long Tim Warwick post, if you take in the breath, engage your pelvic floor, hold still, and sing, you're going to be able to sustain your notes much, much longer. All right, more to come. Ciao, Bella. Remember to subscribe and like the videos. We'll see you soon.